Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sewrena and today's video is going to be inspired by Pretty Woman because I really love that movie. And once you see the fabric that I chose, you can see that I couldn't not make an inspired look with the fabric that I chose. And today's video is going to feature a SewChic pattern. This was sent to me by the company, and it is a jacket and capri or pedal pusher pattern. I'm only focusing on the jacket this go around. It is an asymmetrical design, so the buttons are on an angle, and you can have the version with pockets or the version without pockets. I wanted to do a maternity outfit that was still vintage inspired, but available to you guys if you can't get any of my past patterns, or if they're harder to find or more expensive, then you can still get something that's in print that will work and is very much vintage. I think that's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate all the love and the support I've been getting over the last couple months. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, as well as follow me on Instagram at Sewrena_ to keep up with me in real time. So let's get into the video. Bye. So for my final project, we're going to be working with these two satins. I have the brown polka dot satin for the blouse, and then I also have this white satin for my skirt. I used a pattern that I used in the past already for the skirt. It's a kangaroo skirt, and I chose this one because it has the least amount of sewing, and I like that for satin, so it only has the side seams and the back seams, so less rippling or just less sewing on the satin in general, so that way it comes out better in my opinion. And for the jacket pattern, we're going with this SewChic pattern that was sent to me from the company, and I decided to go with the version without pockets. And so here we go into the cutting. So now that I am working on my very last maternity outfit while I'm pregnant, because I'm going to continue to wear maternity, the adjustable type, while I lose weight and get back to normal. But in the meantime, this is the last piece that I'll be working on with my bump, and it's kind of bittersweet. I didn't intend to enjoy myself as much. I was not as happy the first time. I was really tired, and so being able to like have this new experience and it be positive so far is just really exciting, and I'm glad I was able to share this with other people, especially moms to be out there. That's really exciting to me when people say that they're pregnant and they're looking forward to trying vintage maternity, because I'm looking forward to seeing the mom. It's like I got as many patterns as I felt was realistic for me to make in such a what seemed like a small amount of time. So it'd be cool to see other people carry on and possibly work on things that I wish that I could have been able to work on. And so I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the support and just the well wishes and everything. So I can't stress this enough, but understitching is extremely important on these kangaroo skirts, because even with understitching, it does tend to flip up a little, but especially on satin, because you can't really tack it down. I think on cotton you can get away with tacking it, but since satin it shows so easily, I wouldn't recommend tacking it down. However, the bigger your bump is, the more it stays down, so you won't have to worry about it. So now I'm going to sew the center back using French seams, and I pinned the fabric so it wouldn't move as much, but I pinned it within the seam allowance so that way there is no holes left in the fabric. So now I'm cutting the blouse, and if you see there's a little piece of like washi tape, there was flaw in the fabric, so I like to put a piece of tape to mark that, so that way I don't add that into my fabric. because the last thing you want to do is cut your pieces out and then find like a hole or a stain or something in the fabric that you can't fix. So as you can see here, I'm using a piece of paper. Usually I use tissue paper for this, but to start off my sewing, because otherwise the satin is so kind of flowy and flimsy that it'll get chewed up by like the bobbin compartment. So I always started off with like a little piece of tissue paper. In this case, it was like a little piece of wrapping paper. So that's just a tip for working with sheer or flimsy, not so stiff fabrics, to keep your machine from eating that fabric. Another thing I forgot to mention is that when I do sew with these satin materials and small delicate materials, I like to use a very fine microtex needle, and the quality of your needle and type of needle is really important when working with these types of fabrics to help with snagging, runs, and just tension issues. Stay stitching is really important with this polka dotted fabric, more so than ever, especially because it's a lot more flowy and has more drape than the solid colored satin, and it lost its shape really easily. So I definitely recommend that you stay stitch the neck and the arms. So interfacing first, then cutting afterward actually works. It doesn't move and it stays straight. I would have shamelessly done this to the entire blouse if I had enough interfacing to begin with. Okay guys, so these are the two front pieces. It's the front of the jacket comes into 4 separate pieces. So you have the side front and then the center front piece, which is enclosed with interfacing, so you could add your buttons. At this point, the buttons would be sort of last, but on the slippery, difficult fabric, I decided to go ahead and mark buttonholes and put them on before I attach it to the back. And that'll make it just a little bit easier to deal with and not have the whole blouse pulling while adding the buttonholes, in hopes to not get as many runs in the fabric. And then I also got these really cute buttons that I think will look really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and French seam the shoulder and the side seams to the back. So now I am sewing the side seams, preparing them to be French seams, of course, because it looks better, and it ultimately keeps the whole blouse from falling apart from fraying. And as I was watching over the clips and stuff, I was wondering if you guys would like for me to do an entire video on my buttonholer and basically how to attach it to your machine and all the different buttonhole functions that it has, kind of like a show and tell / mini tutorial type thing. I thought it would be pretty cool to introduce more people to the buttonholer, especially if you already have it and you just think that it only does one type of buttons. I could show you how all the other templates work. In this clip, I'm easing the sleeves so that way I can go ahead and attach it. And I do truly recommend that you hand baste your sleeves on before you put them on by machine. I think it helps so much with the process and having it fit perfectly. So now it's time for the finishing touches, and that's the buttons on this jacket. After this jacket, I'll be throwing in a couple clips of me sewing the hat. I intended to make the hat a completely separate video, but that day I had a lot of energy and I wanted to take advantage of it, so I ended up doing a lot more sewing than I actually did any kind of recording on the hat. So I'll just leave the pattern that I used for that hat in the description box, as well as the materials that I used to stiffen it in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was so much fun to carry you guys along for this journey with me. It was definitely new, and I did not expect to be able to do as much as I was able to do in such a extraneous time in my life. But I'm really glad that I stuck it through and I was able to document this, because I think it'll be fun for me to look back on too. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you in my next video.